Welcome back to Farming Simulator and something a little different from me. I happened to watch Daggerwin's video of how many trailers can one tractor pull. YouTube randomly served that up to me because I don't watch much Daggerwin anymore, and I thought I want to have a go at that. But then I thought actually it's going to take a long time, and then I made the mistake of mentioning it on Discord, and people seem to want to see it. So here it is. We have a selection of big tractors which we're going to try and use, and the first 10 trailers. Daggerwin hit 115, and I think he was going pretty slowly at that point and kind of struggling. I'm not sure what map he was on. I am on the 4X map that just released on, or released recently on Mod Hub. I can't remember the name of it. I'm just going to look it up. I'm using the little JCB to help shuffle trailers around. It is Prairie Farm, Michigan by Taylor Farms. So yeah, we've got the custom modding Fendt 1050 with some triples on the back to try and give it a bit more grip. I've also got the 9RX, I think is Sid Modding's, the Giant's Big Bud. I didn't go for the modded one, which does have triples. I thought I'd stick to the Giant's one. And we have a Challenger M800 because I love two-track tractors. And I'm not sure which one we'll end up using. You will have seen from the thumbnail. At this point, I didn't know. And yeah, it's basically... I'm not going to show you all of the connecting trailers up because it did take a while. I think I spent an hour and a half connecting trailers up. But we're just going to see how far we can get. Can I get to 115 and still be moving? Can I go beyond 115? I might do a few more experiments with this afterwards because I'm kind of curious, and some of the folks on Discord were, as to do different types of tractor make a difference. So does wheeled make a difference? Does tracked make a difference? You know, two-track versus, like the 9RX with the 4 tracks. So we'll see. I'm going to have, if people enjoy this video, I might revisit it. I have kept the save because I didn't want to repeat adding 100 and something trailers back together. I nearly said how many I got to then. Because it's a Daggerwin style video, we do use lots of super strength. I think this video would have been pretty much impossible for my sanity without super strength. It would have taken me a heck of a lot longer. Because I would have basically been resorting to connecting trailers 2 at a time rather than many at a time, which is what I end up doing. You'll see later on. But I end up hooking up 10 tractors at a time and then joining them to the main chain. The advantage of this map is it does have a very long, very flat road by the shop. So that does help. There is a ditch on the side of the road, which I didn't realise at the start. So, yep, that's a thing. Yeah, basically, I'm just going to buy blocks of 10 tractors and trailers at a time, and we're going to hook them up, and we're going to see at what point I can't get the tractor to move. I'm pretty confident with the Fendt. Daggerwin's used a versatile, but you know, the Fendt's a pretty beefy tractor. It's I don't have the game open in front of me to compare it to the versatile. I am also curious, and I don't get around to testing it in this video because it took me quite a while to record, is how tracks versus wheels perform. And might try that on. There are some tractors where you can swap the wheels for the tracks. Who'd have thought that? Hey, Cartech. And so I might see if there's a high horsepower one of those, so that we can keep everything else consistent and just change the wheels and tracks. Because obviously with grip, I think in FS there's more involved in FS22 than there used to be in FS19. So I think, I'm not certain, I think weight is a factor. You know, in the real world, mass pulls mass, as they say on Strongman. Used love watching Strongman. Haven't really random aside while we hook trailers up. Since the advent of internet and you know, the fact that in the UK they still only show World's Strongest Man at Christmas, right? It happens in like June or July. I don't watch it so much on TV anymore because I tend to try and catch it through the random people that post stuff on YouTube and Instagram or whatever, and by the time you know the result, I find it's less exciting to watch. So yeah, but mass does help move mass, you know. You've got inertia and stuff. So we will see where we get to. I think this is the first 10 trailers hooked up. It already looks ridiculously long, and you know, we are looking to go more than 10 times as long as this. So let's get the next set brought. I'm not going to show you all of it because obviously that would make it like an hour-and-a-half long video. I do have a slight advantage, I guess, that I'm not in multiplayer. I'm also not dealing with any kind of server lag. But boy, does this kill FPS. It's really, I put the FPS counter up as I get more trailers connected. So we are up to 30. And it already looks ridiculous, you know. That's 30 trailers. It looks stupid. Kind of is stupid, I guess. Yeah, the hit on FPS once it gets long is nuts. So we're up to 60 trailers, so we're kind of halfway to what Daggerwin wanted, and the Fendt is rolling along quite happily at like 10 miles an hour. So, you know, not really any problems at the moment. Wouldn't expect there to be, given that, you know, we're aiming for kind of double this number of trailers. So, yeah, no problems so far. Maybe because I'm generally just moving in a straight line. We're getting a slight weave on. Spoiler alert, this gets worse. And I think a lot of the problem was between the chair and the keyboard with the weave that we were getting. Trying to do it quickly was maybe not the best option, but yeah, it's already stupidly long. So I ended up switching to the Challenger so that I could move them in blocks of 10, and this shows you the kind of mistake that I was making, no, not the small crash, is that I'm just hooking the trailers up and pulling them out of the shop area and hooking them up, and that means that they're not in a nice straight line. And that means that as the kind of physics amplify themselves through the chain, much like Daggerwin got, where they got the big weave going on, I end up with a pretty weaving. You can see it there. It's growing slowly. But we're up to 80 trailers, and, you know, we're still rolling along, picking up speed, you know, 6-7 miles an hour. I've got VCA installed because that's how it shows you wheel slip, and at the moment we've only got like 12% wheel slip, so we've got plenty in reserve as we get going. So let's hook some more trailers up. You can really see that weave now and that ditch. Yeah, and that's purely a function of me being a bit lazy hooking some of the trailers up and doing it all in the case. Can you see how fat that weave is now? It's way wider than the road, and we're down at 20 FPS. So I normally play locked at 60 FPS, and the trailers are just crushing the performance of the game. You can see when I'm not involved in that trailer chain, we're up at 60 FPS. And what I started doing to fix the weave is this. So I would loop round with a set of 10 trailers and straighten them up and then hook them up. That doesn't pull that weave out though, so that's kind of set in, and we'd have to drive, you know, far enough to get through that, I think, to get rid of that. But we're still hooking trailers up. I have no idea at this point what we're at, but Thank God for super strength. That's why I say, because I'm glad I didn't have to try and back that up to get it to hook up to the trailer. You know, you can see the FPS just tanks as I get near it. It's crazy. It is utterly crazy how much difference it makes. But that is a lot of trailers. So I think at this point I'm going to do a bit of a flight down so you can see just how long it is. I'm going to do it on 2 times running speed, just to make it quicker, because it takes quite a long time. I think at this point I might be beyond Daggerwin's record. But yeah, look at that snake that we got going there. And it's just touching into the ditch a couple of times, which is not good. It's not good. I'm hoping that it doesn't kind of exaggerate as we start to move, but it's just stupid how long this line of trailers is. And this is really not something that I would normally do, but yeah, it's I was just curious as to what, you know, whether I could beat Daggerwin's 115. And we will see whether I do or not. So let's jump in the Fendt and see if we can move this behemoth line of trailers. So let's go. We are 99% wheel slip, 1 mile an hour, 16 FPS, but we are moving. You can see the tires are churning away on the ground. With VCA, I could jump in and manually enable diff locks and 4-wheel drive and stuff, but I didn't want to do that at this point. We are at 130 trailers. Yes, we are well beyond Daggerwin's 115. And we're doing 3 miles an hour, so 4 miles an hour. I kind of consider that a success. Once we're rolling, the wheel slips dropping, and we are on our way. So I'm just trying to move the train across slightly. It's going to take so long for that small change to ripple through that I think it's going to make no difference in getting us away from that ditch. But, you know, comfortable. You know, who needs to go more than 4 miles an hour when you're karting? Yeah. Let's put some more on the back, shall we? I've done a bit of work trying to straighten out that wiggle with super strength, because I was really worried about falling in the ditch. It hasn't made that much difference. Maybe I haven't done that yet. I thought I had. Oh well. Another 10 trailers, anyone? Yeah, why not? So we've done 130. You can see it just as you get close to it. I'm not even in a vehicle connected to it, and the FPS just tanks. I assume it's the game trying to work out the physics of all these trailers connected together. But we are rolling. We are rolling very slowly. We are at 140 trailers. It's pretty crazy. Only 2 miles an hour now. 99% wheel slip. 16 FPS. But we're rolling. We're at 3 miles an hour. You know, I think, you know, we're not doing badly. We can probably go a bit further. There is probably a bit more there. I'm just going to save the game because I am going to try and straighten out some of that. And I think actually this might be the point where I swap tractors. So you will have seen from the thumbnail that I swapped to the Big Bud. And I think I was nervous that if I disconnected, things would explode, basically. Because, yeah, so Big Bud, 1,000 horsepower, 4 chonky tires, so not triples. My first time driving Big Bud in FS22. I did use it in FS19 a little bit, not on gameplay that I did for recording, but before I started making videos. I was kind of hoping it'd sound better. It sounds a bit like a normal tractor. It's a little bit disappointing. But this thing is just insane. Obviously, it's Big Bud, but you know, doing something a bit insane. And I didn't want to cut out just how long it takes to drive along. So yeah, just to give you an idea of how stupid this thing is, I wanted to see how long it took to drive along it, and yeah, it's not trivial. I don't think I had any more than the 140 trailers. So, do you want to see how many more we can do? I'm curious. I also am curious about testing whether tracks versus wheels. So when we hit the limit of one of these tractors, we then swap to a tracked version and see if a tracked version can pull it. And the thing about Big Bud, talking about mass pulls mass, Big Bud I think is 45 or 47 tons. Like the 9RX that I haven't used yet is only 25 tons, only 25 tons. So Big Bud does have a huge advantage. So yeah, let's see how Big Bud does. And yeah, just watch the 60 FPS tank as we back this beast up and hook it up. There we go. So for Pete, when you said it looked like the trailer wasn't connected, when I can get it in the right place, come on. It was. It's just how the trailer sit. The FPS just tanks. But let's go. So much less wheel slip. I say that we're up. No, yeah, I think we're about 30% wheel slip. So Big Bud has got a lot more in it. I think once we're rolling, we're tanking along. So do we? What do we do next? More trailers, different tractors, but we have beaten Daggerwin's record quite easily with 140 trailers. So if you enjoyed this video, click the like button, comments, questions, suggestions below, and if you are new to my channel, then think about subscribing.